Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. If you were looking at the bearded one, it must be Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 3 out in Hawaii, 7 a.m. tomorrow out in Indonesia, and about 11 a.m. out in Australia. Welcome everybody to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. If this is your first time to the show, I am your host, Tom Springer. Welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy it. I do have on a very fantastic guest today. If you are a repeat offender, you know who you are. Welcome back. I call you my family. Thank you for showing up. Been a while since we've been on, at least on this show. I actually did a guest speak not too long ago on another show. Sorry I couldn't get the advertisement out fast enough, but it's out there to find if you want to. Other than that, I am not going to waste too much time because we have limited amount of time with this fantastic person. So let me go ahead and bring in Mr. Chris Cesare right now, and I'll get everything else up and running while he's talking. So, hello, Mr. Chris. Hello, Mr. Chris. There you are. There you are.
Thanks for having me on, Tom.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good.
Happy New Year.
So I just got to kind of run everything because I have all your stuff running on the bottom and everything else. So,
Cool.
Just so you know, a lot of people pop in and say hi. So Stuart is saying hello from Texas. He actually said that he went out and he watched your movie. Fantastic. Cool. So that is very nice.
Thank you.
Primal Cries popping in to say hello. This will happen a while. As we go, I'll start to just wave at him or wherever else, but I just kind of want to recognize the people who are here right now. My wife should be popping in sometime because she actually runs the controls to let us know if we're losing internet or anything from upstairs.
Very
so
cool.
She'll be she's
kind of love.
Right? But anyways, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
As I always try to do with the audience, I try to let them know how you and I met. Now, personally, you and I had never met, but we have talked a couple times online, and we actually pseudo-met online through another network that both of us, that I was a part of and that you were looking to be a part of or whatever else, but you were talking to people, you came on as guests, but you've also been a guest on numerous shows, and my audience knows Taryn, but you've also been a guest on Taryn's show and stuff like that. So I want to thank you for coming on, for working with me on getting the dates correct since we had that little issue before. Hi, Kathy. How are you? But you're here. I have you for limited time, so I don't want to do too much on the intro. But I would like you to please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, basically what you do and how it came about to happening.
Sure. Well, people don't know this, but in the late 80s, I was former President Barack Obama's boy toy in Chicago. And just kidding. Now you're going to go viral for me saying that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let those movies.
You go boom, boom, boom. I knew it.
Right? All of a sudden, the ratings go through the roof. I'm just gonna take that clip out and just play it on as my little story.
That's right. No, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I about 40 years ago, my friends and I experienced what they now call an extreme haunting. We got to meet Ed and Lorraine Warren. We had a priest come and bless the room. We had a professor of psychology help us collect the voice EVPs. We saw these full-body apparitions. It became this huge movement on the school. I became the ghost boy. I didn't like any of it. It was way over my head. And years and years passed, and I found a way to share it, talking about survival, talking about coping mechanism, not just trying to scare people.
Right.
I began that process as a skeptic, which is natural.
Right.
And those experiences really opened my eyes to the fact that there are things out there that we don't always know and understand. And that's pretty much an amazing thing to think about the human species. We're still learning about life.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those who don't, so I have to tell you this because, and I always sell out my audience like this. A lot of people see the advertisement and they see me on one side and you on the other side, and it has our names and it says, today, January 5th at 7 p.m. But not too many people actually click on the link and read everything behind it.
Sure.
So if people have not done that, first off, shame on you. Second, the intro has a very good discussion, kind of pre-discussion about what we're going to be talking about and everything else along that lines. I am, as my family also knows, I do not preload you with any of the information that's about to happen and questions I'm about to ask or anything else because I don't know them.
I'm going in blind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am too. So this is fantastic. This is what we call squirrel moments. on the show, and this is a staple on my show. So so for those people who don't know, you were at college and you began to have events take place at the college where things were coming up that you couldn't explain.
That's right.
And first off, no one understood you. And second off, no one believed you. There were those people who felt bad for you and tried to help you, not realizing that you were not having a mental breakdown, but that this was something that was seriously going on and it was active. And even your roommates and stuff like that were having a hard time with it until it started happening and they actually started seeing it or it happening to them. There's my wife saying hello to you, by the way. So that's a little background of it for some people who don't know about you at all. I know there's much more to it than that, but that is the quickest cliff notes I could possibly give. But the one question I've always had, because has it ever happened again? Do you still have instances afterwards where things happen?
That was thankfully a one-time thing. That the experience that lasted for about 3 months, and the activity was daily. It was around the clock. It was horrific. It was unplanned. I didn't read tarot cards. I didn't use Ouija boards. I didn't do seances. I had no interest whatsoever in anything that was happening. I was a national draft runner. I was a great athlete, and I was in college. I was happy. It was a great time to be alive. MTV just come out. It was beautiful. The music was out there. And in terms of politics, we're very divided now as a nation. But back then, I think Reagan won 49 states to 50. I mean, there was almost like this similarity of saying, let's celebrate who we are. Olympic Games were held in August of that previous summer. I was living in a glorious time. When I first started to hear the whispering of my name, my first thought must be a practical joke or it must be one of my friends, but no one was ever there. I put headphones on. This way I'd black out the sound of their annoyance. And I heard the voice through the headphones. I don't understand how that was possible. And I'm trying to think to myself, Jesus, are there drugs in my food? Is there gas leak in the room? But none of that happened, And eventually, over a period of weeks, I began to check off what I thought were the commonalities, what it should be. And was one thing left over was the paranormal, which made me very uncomfortable. I was a marathon runner, and that's all about preparation and training. You put your splits on your arm, just the splits. It's all about controlling your environment, and seeing that thing in the room that was impossible, it really jolted me. The fact that I saw it was more frightening than the fact of how it looked, because I can't be seeing that it's impossible. And my first thought was, I need to get some help for this. And I just ran out of the room yelling for someone to help me out. And that's where I met John Jeff Unger, who, as the haunting progressed, became the chronicler. He would record what was going on. He had an interest in some of these things. And he was the person I ran to each day to say, well, this is happening. And we looked for patterns, certain times of day, weather patterns. So how would this happen? How would this happen? So we weren't investigating per se, we're surviving. Jeff helped me to put some parameters on the experience. When Paul, who in the Netflix show True Haunting, when he leaves in episode 1, he's gone. That actually happened. He just took off and never saw him again. It's been 40 some odd years. I don't begrudge him. I mean, you do have to do to survive, and he did. He had to do to survive.
Right.
But when he first saw this, without me talking to him about it, he described what I described, what I saw. Then I knew it was external, because if he was seeing independently, it was an external variable. At first, I was happy. Yay, I'm not crazy, Tom. Then I thought, wait a second, this is worse. There's a dead thing in the room. If I'm crazy, give me a pill. But there's a dead thing in the room. It seems actually far worse. My celebration was short-lived.
Yeah, that absolutely. And I'm a paranormal investigator, and I couldn't imagine living through something like that. And the fact that it was daily and it was constant.
And where I slept, that was my home at college, my dorm room. So if you go to investigate in a castle, in a graveyard, historical site, that's one thing you're looking.
Right. You're attempting to.
Can you imagine you're sleeping, and God forbid this ever happens to you or anybody listening or watches your show, and you open your eyes one day and somebody you don't know is standing above you?
Yeah.
You will never forget that. Whether it's a practical joke, surprise party, an intruder, a murderer, you will never forget that moment because you're vulnerable and could have been killed. So after that happens, you'll lock your doors twice, you'll lock your windows twice, right?
Yeah.
And so it creates an element of PTSD if you can't sleep in your own place of comfort.
Right. And then all of a sudden, It's not the fact that you saw something that should not have been there, but
And who do
but
you
it,
tell? You
yeah,
can't tell the police. What are they gonna see? If it's an intruder, some guy breaks in your house, you call the police, they track him down, DNA evidence, they can
right,
take him away.
something,
But this thing, first of all, people don't believe you're having it. You must be drinking or taking something, right?
right, and your
Then no
college,
one can believe you. Then you
so,
start your own sanity. Then how do you stop this thing goes through walls?
yeah,
You feel, and as a teenager, you feel totally helpless.
yeah, and that even discredits you less because you're at college, so they would
Yeah.
expect
They
experiments
assume
to
you're
happen.
boozing up and
So,
drinking.
yep,
Yes. Yeah.
yep. So all that wonderful stuff. So, but it was to me, it was interesting to watch because I did watch the show.
Yeah.
And we watched, my wife and I watched it, and it was amazing to me how even with all this was going on, you still tried to normalize your life. Like you're
Yeah.
still going out on your runs. You're still doing this. You're still doing that. So you're trying not to let any of this affect you as much as possible.
That's
But yet
training,
it's
Tommy.
still
You
being,
know training too. The
oh
military
yeah,
background, you know training. Training keep you alive, right? You're
absolutely.
training. So I
Yep.
used to run races and 5K, 10 races. Like one time I was running a race at Marist College, I got a side stitch.
Oh
I was
yeah.
in second place for like the 30th place damn side stitch. The next day I was out there running with oranges and apples, bananas. I tried to induce cramps on purpose to work through them.
To work
I was
through,
a beast that way. I wanted to succeed. Nothing would stop me. So no matter what's happening around me, here's my goal. I'm
right,
laser focused.
right, right. One part that touched me hugely, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, to me it wasn't, but the fact that how your father stepped in
Yes.
and took on the role that you don't mess with my son. I trust you now. I believe you now. Leave my son alone. This is not your place. You have no clue what you're about to step into by stepping towards my son. Without understanding that it was a cry for help beforehand, it was something along those lines. But it was just to him to not really experience any of it firsthand, but just hearing you and trusting you and understanding this isn't drinking or drugs or anything else. Initially, it was like I had to come out and help.
Yeah, that was big. It was a big
Yeah,
moment
that's
because
huge.
by that time I was faster than him. I was taller than him. I was
Yeah,
a man, but he raised me. He taught me how to count, how to play sports, and be a good
right.
winner and be a good loser, how to problem solve. He was my role model, and when he got there, I felt so happy because I felt like I was a kid again. I was safe. He'll
Right.
protect me, whether he could or not. And I love the fact, I just called him. I said, Dad, I know what's happening, but it's real. I don't know how to deal with it. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble, Dad.
Yeah.
And he just made that 5-hour trip in
He
4
just
hours.
showed up. Yeah.
He was supposed to bring my sister to her prom. He's left her behind. Said, I'm sorry, your brother's in trouble. I didn't even know that at the time. I felt bad. She was angry at me for many years after that. But that's family dynamics, And people criticize him. Oh, what the heck? He gets there, he leaves the kid behind, doesn't do anything. What kind of dad is that? He was a great dad.
Yeah.
When I needed the help, he came to help me. He didn't
Right.
know what was going on, but damn it, he's going to keep his son safe and help his kid out. And
Yeah.
I'll always love that. Next morning, we went for a jog. He said, listen, do me a favor, just change your room. He didn't tell me what he saw until 20 some odd years later. He didn't want to bring it up and make me think about it again.
Right.
He knew. He said to me, my gosh, years later, he said, it was so cold in that room, I saw my breath. I thought maybe the heat was out, but it was 65 degrees. The windows closed, I saw my breath still. It was very unnatural. He felt like he's going to vomit. He felt all these. So he knew something was going on, but there's no training for that to just get out of there.
Right. But the part about that was he was experiencing all that, and you were sleeping.
Yes.
So that
I
was
so thankful.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, that gave you that was such a piece to see. I mean, people, if that does not resonate and people do not understand that through the film, just through the show itself, then you're missing something in your life.
Since I stepped before that.
So I mean, that's huge.
You remember the scene where I'm by the vending machine sleeping?
Oh yeah.
Scene.
Yeah.
I did that for a reason. The vending machine with soda and things, a pop. Every 15 minutes, the cooler would kick on to keep the soda cool.
Yeah.
So I'd wake up. So I had an alarm clock every 15 minutes to make sure nothing was around. Go back to sleep again. That was my watch, my sentry.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out ways to have the environment work for me. Another way I was very proud of myself to do that because this way I wake up and see.
Yeah.
So it was really traumatizing.
Yeah.
I would sleep in a different room almost every night to avoid being captured by this thing. And talk about paranoia.
Yeah. And a lot of people, it's explained and it's something that I know. Um, it's a very psychological, it's very emotional, but it is also very physical toll on your body. It's not just in your head, but now you're hurting because you're not eating properly. Now you're hurting because you're not sleeping properly. Your focus isn't there. A lot of different things affect you, but yet you were strong enough to continue to try to push through all that and keep focus on what brought you there in the first place.
Strong enough, lucky enough, had good friends around me. A lot of variables got me through.
Yeah, and so I want to ask you. You can see it, but I want to ask you, the person,
Sure.
when it started to affect your friends, especially the girl.
Right. Yeah.
How does that? I mean, without even saying it, you can feel that there's a sense of guilt in you. For why come after me? Why are you attacking my friends now?
Well, that's absolutely true. So, you're spot on again, Tom. Your questions they're stellar because you're getting to the crux of all these issues that many people miss.
Yeah.
Your training or your experience. Maybe that's cool. But the friendships. I mean, that's your structure. That's your family.
Yeah.
In the military, that's your family there. In my college, that was my family.
Yeah.
And at first, there was no effect. People were intrigued. What's Chris doing? What's he saying and hearing? But once the picture came out, then all of a sudden the rumor spread all around the place. People got concerned about me. Are you okay? What's in that room with you?
Right.
After the blessing of the room, then the ghost started to attack people.
Right.
Started to attack me, it attacked Linda, Beth. And then the thing about that was, in my room I was safe, but externally I was not. So the thing brought me to it. It would attack Linda, Chris helped me. It would attack Beth, Chris helped me. So it outsmarted me. So I had a safe zone, but I couldn't stay there because my friends were being attacked.
Right.
I felt terrible about that. It wasn't my ghost, my spirit's with me. The people associated with me, and it became my responsibility, conventional wisdom-wise. Well, do something with your ghost, Chris. Everyone said that to me. You're the ghost boy. Do something, as though I controlled this creature, this thing, and that didn't happen.
Right. And that's something that people need to understand too. It was literally using your friends to lure you out.
Yes, that's correct.
That's what it was doing, because you, being the person you were at that point and still are now, will not allow others to take that hit for you. You just won't. And that's something that's
not right.
Right. And that's something that some people would just be like, it's not me anymore. Yay. But there's people out there that go, no, this is, and even though it wasn't your responsibility, you felt it was started with you. So it was your responsibility, but not to fight that, but to help your friends.
Well, two things about that. The first thing is that if I did change my room, then somebody else goes in there.
Right.
I don't want that to happen. And that's horrible enough. Another thing was, when I was about 11 years old, my grandmother on my mom's side said to me, I just, out of the blue, I'm helping with chores. She goes, you know what, Chris? You're a good person. I said, I am? You're really a good person. I'm very proud of you. I thought, well, that's cool. I remember that moment. She said I was good. I believed her. She's a smart woman. My grandmother just loved her. I said, maybe I am good. So I decided at that point in time, I'll try to be good. That's one of my goals. So but if she had never said to me, who knows what would happen. But that was a key moment in my awareness. Maybe I can be a good person. Let's give it a shot.
Yep. So I want to kind of go through some of these comments that are popping up.
Sure.
So we're talking about what would happen if we saw one or whatever else. And Stuart responds with, I would most likely freak out, but the poor spirit was just trying to get help. Had our culture been more intense to the spirit world, it might have been a better experience. It may have been something that you would have learned about earlier, because of where the marking was when you ran by the tree and everything else and stuff like that. So, but that's just a history you didn't have or you didn't know.
Right. It would be helpful to have that bend to society. We're a little more open-minded, a little more aggressive in our questioning of what really is, and less comfortable in our little zones.
Well, we even see it. We even see it now. To like when you. I know I'm seeing the messages too. When you well, back then, just flat out no lie.
Like today, there are no groups back then.
Yeah,
there are no groups, no websites, no TV shows, nothing.
Right, but I'm just saying back then, people weren't accepting of it as they were now.
It was the adult.
They wouldn't have done the research like we do now.
It's too bad.
They just wouldn't have done it. Now we're just like, well, it's a spirit. Let's go find out what's going on with it, and let's do the research of it, and everything else we can pull from every single record we could. But back then, it was like, dude, this guy's nuts. He's seeing.
Who asked the comment about open-mindedness? Who was that?
Oh, that was Stuart. He was the one who's saying
Yeah,
that
Stuart.
now
I
it
think
would be.
that's a great
Yeah,
point, and I did freak out. The problem I would have had still was that I wasn't associated with that cultural understanding. I was just an athlete. I was a little naive to these things, but it would have been great to have society do that because maybe somebody who was informed could have helped me and stepped in and been advantageous to myself. At the time, there was nobody. There was the movie Exorcist movie that was out. There were the
yep,
warriors running around. It
yep.
was just the occult. There was In Search of. That's incredible, but nothing like you have today for resources. But
Right.
the good thing about that, it forced Jeff and myself and Craig and Linda and Beth and Ed and everybody involved, Paul, to actually find our own way. We
Yeah,
didn't have to copycat things. We didn't have to take other people's words. We just lived through it, thankfully.
yeah,
And it was very experiential, very organic. But I think what Stuart's saying is correct.
yeah.
And every society has benefits to what they believe and do, and then there are some downfalls to those things. That's what makes us human.
Right.
And I think it'd be a nice thing if we could have a more open-minded approach to some of these things. I agree
And
with you.
I also kind of, from watching it, I kind of also wonder what it would be like, because you were kind of out, your university, your college was kind of set out on its own little area. There
Yeah.
was not like a large community around it. So had there been something else in the area, would it have been connected to you rather than something else in a larger community? Type of
I
thing.
don't know. There's so many possibilities.
Right.
We're really cool that they're called money board and quarterbacking. It's good to learn that way, but at the time, I'm telling you, this is the truth. I didn't want it to happen. I wanted it to end. I
Right.
don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. So all the points that are being made are very cogent points for
Mhm.
someone looking for answers, for someone who's trying to get the help. I
Right.
just became a cocoon. I don't want to be bothered by it. I just took it on myself, which was probably not healthy.
Right.
But it spared some of my friends some of the horror that would otherwise probably have fallen to them. I didn't think
Yeah.
I'd live through it. I remember looking up in heaven saying, God, used to be omnipotent. You made a mistake in this one, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you. I
Right.
can't
Yeah.
do this. You got the wrong guy. Check your folder because check again. No, it's the other Chris, and yet somehow
Yeah.
amazingly, here I am. So
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah. So Max responds with, hey guys, I saw that show on Netflix as well. Awesome that you got Chris on your show. That was a good watch. Absolutely. I agree that. Primal wants some information. She is asking, give us some details, Chris. What did it look like, smell like, feel like?
That's a great question. Yeah. The senses, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's more than just what we see. So,
okay. Yeah. The coolest thing from my perspective, there was no smell. I was worried to be like a smell of death or corrosion or feces. It was just a cool, fresh. It was like putting your head in the icebox, the freezer. I'm so thankful for that. I'm like, please, thank you. It sounded two different ways. Usually there was a whispering of my name, and I heard that. Paul heard that. Craig heard that. Craig's friend heard that. It's always calling my name. Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then toward the end of the haunting, as things began to crescendo, and I began to actually brave and speak to it and talk to it,
Right.
it would say things like, made mistake, so much pain, things like that. So
Right.
it began when I got a little braver. It took me a long time, honestly. It wasn't like a movie where you have John Wayne and you have the gun and the girl and up you go.
Right.
I had to find my way through this, but at the end, I was, with the help of my friends, I got brave enough to actually communicate with it. It appeared two different ways as well. The first few times I saw it, many times, it looked like a young man, I don't know, 16 to 20 age, got a category, just a little bit taller than me, not much, with its head tilted as though its neck had been snapped, like hung from a tree, something like that.
Mhm.
And its mouth was open and the eyes were kind of like blank. And I saw yellow and blue markings on its torso. I don't know if it was like a military outfit or it was striped in the shirt. And then it had these pants that looked like old-fashioned leather, like from 18 something or whatever.
Yep.
I didn't know how to tell Jeff what these things even were. And it would appear in things. So it'd be coming out of the stereo. So you'd see the whole body like solid. Then all of a sudden below the waist to be in the stereo, like inside the stereo. That's impossible.
Right.
Other times it would be like you see the shadow go across the room, and the shadow is darker than dark. No, in a dark room, the shadow was still darker than the shadow was.
Oh, yeah.
Insane. And then toward the end, it would begin to, I thought, torment me. It would show me itself with these massive wounds, intestines pulled out, and its eyes gouged out. I said to Jeff, this thing's evil. It's absolute evil trying to torture me with these scenes. I found out later on it was likely telling me who it was, what happened to him.
Right.
But I didn't have that knowledge. I didn't know.
Right. The fact he was tortured and everything else. Yeah.
I had no clue.
Absolutely. So it's like we said Beetlejuice too many times because Taryn popped in.
Yeah.
We started Taryn in too many times. Taryn Crippen says, "Oh hey, love these two men. Can't wait to have Chris on. His Netflix show was done so well, so good." And I had a comment about that that I wanted to bring up. The people that they had portray you and your friends did a fantastic job of the realism of making you believe that of what probably best that you could describe what you were feeling with the terror and with the fear and with the angst is probably a fantastic word for it, for how you felt for your friends and how you knew they felt for you and everything else while you're just trying to carry on and run track. I mean, it's all.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that. It's the process for this show, this docu-series, began way back in 2021. It's almost 5 years now. Began the process, reaching out to me and things, and talking for a while. In 2022, the production crew from Great Britain, the UK, came in to see us. And I said to them, and talking to Jeff and his wife, and talking to my friends and things, let's go out to Pennsylvania, all gather together, and you'll see how we are as people, as friends. And they saw how we interacted after 40 years. This is great. The friendships are so strong. That's a great thing. So we talked about, and Jeff's wife, Margaret, who's also a musician and a director, she mentioned, we talked about the idea of Stand By Me. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
That movie. Yeah. And they're trying to find the body and the railroad tracks.
Yep.
It's not about the body. It's about the friendships that develop in the course of that journey to the body.
Right.
And that's where the concept came from. For the idea of let's have Craig's backstory a little bit, Linda's backstory, and Jeff's backstory, bring all these friends together, and that's how that melded, I think, very well. I was very proud of that. Our interviews were in 2023, so it's a 5-year process. The young actors who portrayed us were exceptional. The young one who played me, his name is Wyatt Dorian. He's from Canada. Okay. He went there to see extra the dance scene for the party, like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they said, you look a lot like this. You want to try out and say he auditioned for the part and he got it. So now he's in a show on Amazon Prime called, it's a spin-off from The Boys called Gen V.
Oh, yeah.
There. So his career's going nicely now.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm kind of reading through well. So Stuart just did mention, wasn't Chris connected by family to the ghost? So, and that was something that was revealed later as well, is that doing a history check that, and it was the assumption, which is a very good assumption, that this is why this person revealed themselves to you, because it was a bloodline.
It's interesting that my great grandfather and uncle were the two soldiers from Pennsylvania who found Thomas Boyd's body after the mutilation and buried him in the ground.
In that area.
And that was a big moment. I ran by that torture tree several times every week for years, right past it. And perhaps it sensed a connection. Perhaps it sensed some kind of connectivity, or because I didn't know that. All these things we know now are fascinating. I didn't know any of that. One of the things that I had a tough time with the Netflix production team was that these events happened for over a long period of time. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know what happened with Thomas Boyd, that connection, until 2012. So 27 years later. But they couldn't make a show that spans 30 years. They couldn't do that.
Right.
So they compressed the timeline. But we didn't find out who that was until almost 30 years later. And that was shocking to me. When I spoke to the ghost, well, first of all, we always call it Tommy, T.
Right.
Name is Tommy. We'd actually say just T, because if it had Tommy, it might summon it. So we said T. But I called it Tommy because I had a parakeet named Tommy. Paul did it Tommy because Tommy, can you hear me? Someone said Tommy because of Tommy knockers. Each person told Jeff independently they call it Tommy because of a different reason.
Because it's something, yes, yeah.
So he was convinced his name was Tommy. So then when we found out this person who was killed, his name was Thomas or Tommy, when I spoke to it that very last time, I asked, where are you from? Because Jeff had said to me, ask questions that can lead to some kind of person.
Right.
And I did. And he said, I'm from Danville, Pennsylvania. He said, Danville. And so that's where Thomas Bud was from. So all that click, 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 click. And I think, just like where I was mentioning to you that seeing the ghost was actually scarier than it looked like. Mm-hmm. Same thing there. Finding out the connection to my family was more shocking than the fact that it actually happened.
Right. And then to learn kind of at that point, I'm sure that's where you started making the connections. You are not showing me to torture me. You're showing me how you were tortured.
Yeah, it's a
So
scary thing. It's
yeah,
a lot of pain. And I didn't like this thing. I don't use the word hate, but almost I hated this thing for what it did to all my friends and my family and just was
right.
destroying everything I worked so hard to achieve for the first 19 years of my life. And when I saw it, I saw sad its eyes where I could not maintain that animosity. I just felt bad for it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
knew the suffering that it had endured was much more than what I had endured. And just
yeah.
part of my nature is just to feel bad. I tried to help.
So outside of that, I already kind of asked you if you've ever had any other experience like this afterwards. You said no. There was luckily just that one
Nothing
time.
like that. No.
But have you ever? How's the best way for me to say this? Have you ever delved back into the paranormal? Have you done any investigations? Have you done anything that kind of would bring you back into that realm after going through something like that?
I try to control what I say into this regard, but I guess it's fair just to speak a little more about it. I usually have to have things cut and dry. Nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope. But a few months after my family went down to Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Virginia, the
Oh yeah.
reconstructed site there of this settlement, and we were there, and I heard a ghost, the woman running past me, and on fire, screaming, and the clock's going off, and then I might take a picture, not seeing anything, and the picture had the ghost in it and things, same thing, more ghost pictures. So it
Yeah.
wasn't going to go away.
Yeah.
And for a while, I tried to embrace it. I'd go to a place called Moon Creations, and I'd give workshops on reading auras and things, and trying to help out people. I'd go to people's homes and try to get the spirits out of their homes for a few years. I've never done this on TV before or on a live broadcast ever. But it became overwhelming. People kept on catching on to me too strongly, like, "Oh my God, you saved me!" 3 o'clock in the morning, they start calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning, expecting my marriage. If you're a holy saint, what am I? Just people were
Right.
not prepared for
Yeah.
these things. I wasn't either, so I put it in a box around 1989, about 5 years later, and I kept it in that box for about 20 some odd years. Even my best friends didn't know it was me at Geneseo, who the Ghost Boy was. They'd go to the convention to hear about me and stuff, and they'd hear Ed Lorraine Warren talk, or John Zapp, or Tim Shaw. But that's pretty cool. Then when I was on Syfy in 2012, they're like, "Son of a beep,
Right.
what the heck? You didn't even tell me. I love the. How could you?" I said, "Because my life is different than that back then. I'm not the Ghost Boy. Even
Right.
my own children, they didn't know what happened to me. I
Yeah.
tell them bedtime stories, which was my experience with a different layer over it. It'd be
Right.
like a knight or a princess or a king or a dragon
Right.
and in those fairy tales would be my experience, so they could problem solve without being burdened by my experience being
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's fantastic that you did that, because you still kept it alive without the it was
Yeah,
it
no
was
burden for them.
I don't want to say it was fictional, because it wasn't, but it
No,
was a fantasy for
I
them.
created short stories around the moment
Yeah,
so I could
it
learn
was
as a child should learn.
yeah,
And develop problem solving skills without being the ghost boy's child and they have to do what I do or disappoint me. I don't want that on them.
right.
And it's very important to me not to do that,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've never accepted these things very well. It was years later. I remember Leonard Nimoy from Mr. Spock.
Yeah, Mr. Spock. Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book that said, "I am not Spock." People are like, "Ooh, yes, you are." He didn't
Yeah.
realize that the acting job for him was so iconic that astronauts and soldiers and people would decide because of him. Then he
Right.
wrote a second book saying, "I am Spock." So over the years, I've said, "Okay, fine, call me the Ghost Boy. If that gives you some kind of understanding of what happened, if it gives value to the experience, I'll be Ghost Boy." And I'm old
Right.
then.
And that was going to be, that perfectly led into my next question, almost like we're thinking ahead of here, because I was going to ask what makes you comfortable to talk about it now. What made you decide, I had this experience, I didn't even want the experience to happen back then. After I had the experience, I closed it into this box, as you say, but now you're doing shows and you're talking about it,
Yeah.
and you're bringing back documentary films and everything else. So it's to me, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to learn from you different aspects of different parts of life. Just like you were teaching your children,
Yes.
this is something that adults can learn from as well in different aspects of life. And it sounds cheesy if when I say it out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud, because it teaches you something like empathy. It teaches you stuff like protection. It teaches you like loved one, how to, for the love of others and stuff like that. And so it's good that you're doing it, but I'm just wondering what made you step back and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and openly start talking about this again.
External forces. Over the years, people kept telling me, share it. It means something. You survived it. Maybe you can help someone by real information. Maybe it will be good for you. Just share it. And I trusted in Alan Lewis and Bill Edwards and Mark Atria and Jeff Unger and Carrie. I trusted these people.
Right.
I said, fine, I'll step forward and start to share. And the first time I spoke publicly was for a promotional tour at Genesee, where it all happened, on the stage where Lorraine Warren had talked. And I remember telling Jeff when I saw her, I could never talk about ghosts with people. That's crazy. And there I was, jokes on me, right? Full circle. And I remember it was for Please Talk With Me, an independent film that we're talking about. And I went back to school. And in the audience was a gentleman named Tim Shaw, who had a radio show, The Black Cat Lounge, who's a Flint Napper. He's a spiritualist. He's a Lily Dale. He's a fascinating human being. He was brought out of the hospital by his friend Joe Pierre and drove after cancer surgery. He saw these things on him and recorded the event. And he goes, I've been looking for you for 20 years, and this is amazing. Speak, get out there, talk. People need to hear this. Go to urban legend to a real thing. And then when I spoke, people enjoyed it. I wasn't criticized, but I wasn't harangued. That people actually loved to hear. And I realized, you know what? There's a time and a place, and now is a time and place. And that gave me the courage to go forward. And that's where Syfy happened, and Travel Channel, and all these things, Netflix.
Yeah. And Laura followed perfectly on with that, where she says, especially now in this awakening of human consciousness, so many are experiencing paranormal for the first time.
Yes.
And you and I talked about that, and a lot of my family knows it. But mine was 4 years ago, very late bloomer. I was 49 when I had my first experience, and it was an apparition that walked in on me, and I was not expecting it in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, Stuart says, Tom, it may be a good thing if you taught him to protect himself by extending his light about him. You've probably been taught that a few times.
Lorraine Warren.
I'm sure I know who did this.
She called it a Christ light, she called it. That was her perspective on that. And she said that you envision that. It protects you. It's a spiritual energy. It's good. It protects you from harm. The problem there, again, I had was whether or not I believed enough in it, whether or not I knew how to control it, it didn't seem to work. It would appear in the daytime, in the nighttime, and grab my foot at nighttime and look at my face at night as I slept, and I woke up and see it looking at my face and drawing the breath out of my mouth into its own mouth. My eye was frozen shut. Crazy stuff. I didn't have any answer. I'd throw things at it, go through it, bounce off the walls.
Yeah.
It was a scary time. And it's interesting. Lorraine Warren and Ed Warren, Lorraine wouldn't shake my hand. In fact, Ed actually pushed me off the stage. It was actually more than they showed because of their connection with the Warrens and James Wan. It's actually worse than that. And I was really upset. And they went on a ghost investigation across the campus. I refused to go because I was so embarrassed and humiliated. Years later, again, maybe 32 years later, their daughter, Judy, was at an event I was at. Mm-hmm. And she said, are you Chris? Are you the ghost boy? I'm like, yeah, that's me. She goes, my mom loves you. I said, well, who's your mom? She goes, Lorraine Warren. I'm like, you know what? Let me stop right there. It must have been some other Chris. Let me tell you what happened with your mom. And she explained to me, no, I misunderstood it. Their parents they're barnstorm. They go from college to college to college with their tour. And oftentimes to be in like 4 places in 4 days. So they couldn't stay very long. Right. Lorraine's job, as she saw it, was to impart wisdom, experience, share evidence, and then maybe read things, glean things off people and give them advice to read them. She said that when I came up on the stage, my aura was so bright. It was so vibrant was the word they used. She couldn't see. I blocked her. And she didn't want to be blocked in front of the audience. She couldn't perform properly. So she looked at Ed and Ed said, get him off the stage. So it wasn't out of animosity or anger or any kind of evil thing. They just, I'm stopping the show. Get off.
Right.
Afterwards, she said her mom came to the car and talked about me. Because Judy would wait in the car. She wouldn't go to the events. They scared her. She'd stay in the car and do word search and things like that and crossword puzzles. So, but the fact her mom came back to the car hours later and talked about me, and the fact that her mom loved me after all this, that's a really nice feeling. And again, I was wrong. Just to show you that you can be wrong a lot and still succeed.
Right. But it's confirmation that it wasn't, I mean, she at least explained to what it was.
Yes.
So you know that it wasn't out of spite or out of hate or anything.
It wasn't
else.
personal.
It was something totally different. And Laura responds with, we are the way showers, meaning not superior or better than. We've just gone many We've just gone before many, and we can help those who are experiencing weird shit. So yeah, I mean that's
Yes.
really what you're doing, and
Sounds like parenting to me.
that's what a lot of us do. You know, we do this thing where we you know, and I love and that's what I really enjoy doing with the show is I get to bring people on because it shows that it doesn't matter where you're from, what you do, age, ethnicity. I don't care what it is. You can have these experiences, and you can learn from them, and others can learn from you. You know, and to me that's really big because the show is, you don't know this, but way back when we were with the other network, my show was designed because I was new and I was trying to create a community of new people to come learn together. Well, this is why it changed to starting inviting people like the Ghost Boy on and stuff like that, because you've already had those experiences and you can help share them with us. And, you know, my lives have a smaller audience, but the recordings, and people will know this because they know how they watch it as a recording.
Yeah.
There's many recordings, and a lot of people contact me back and go, man, I loved your guest because of this or this or this. And it's normally because you, regardless of what you talk about on the show, someone will learn something from you on this show. And that's all that's important to me is that one person learns one thing. Now we get a really cool story out of it, you know, and then we get some of the behind the scenes stuff that the after effects and everything else that you have, you know, possibly only shared with a handful of people, but you're sharing it on my show.
Right.
Or people don't follow you enough, or they just don't know where to follow you, which is why everything, by the way, is scrolling on the bottom. Hello, people, look at all that. But that way they can still learn. And if they're interested, they can continue to follow you and say, all right, what else did I not know? What else can I see? What else can I hear about?
Well,
and
even Netflix, I mean, they're a huge force in the entertainment world, right? And they have commissioners, they're called commissioners. And each commissioner is in charge of a certain area, documentaries, horror, comedy, things like that. And when the production company hired to create these for Netflix, got back to them saying, we want to do this story about this college in New York, 1980s, whatever. And the concept was, they said, dusty, one word, it's dusty. I said, what does that mean, we're dusty? You know, it's all white guys. You know, so it goes to show you that everyone has a lens. And sometimes, no matter how powerful you are, what age you are, position in life, it's easy to get trapped by your own lens. But once they heard us speak and looked at what happened, they thought, oh my God, this is incredible. This is amazing. So just like most people in the world, we too had to get beyond some hurdles of perception.
Yeah. That preconceived notion is terrible. Yeah, that preconceived notion is not good.
It happens. Even at that level, it happens.
Yeah, and that's good to know. And then the question comes to, after it becomes incredible and they want it, well, do you fall under a documentary? Do you fall under a horror? Do you fall under, you know, so then the battle comes on to what group gets it.
That went to James Wan. The initial production team was going to make it almost like musically driven. All the songs of the 80s, placed it's very experiential, movement and flow.
Yeah.
James Wan apparently got back and said, horror right now is a joke. People just laugh at it. It's overblown. You take it seriously. He believed there's still experiences out there that are real, that deserve attention, that people can talk about and learn from. So he wanted that company, it's Raw Productions, All 3 Media, to find experiences that they can prove something happened, witnesses that are credible. What would that be? How do you interpret that in your own personal sense of view as a viewer? So he loved the aspect of this. So it was right up his alley, but he wanted more of a documentary style. So it's called a docu-series. It's a documentary style program with dramatization and flashbacks of the scenes back 40 years ago. And that's how they started that.
That was great. And it's to me, it's another docu-series to me, or I don't even know if that was a docu-series, but Devil's Academy. Down there in Florida as well, that happened down there and stuff. So it's kind of fell along the same line. That was Bill Slevin spoke in that one.
Bill, yes.
Yeah, he spoke in that one. And he talked about that since he's from down there. But yeah, to me, it kind of flowed along the same lines. It was telling a true story through film that you believe in because it happened. And it wasn't some cheesy, you know, just, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make the next 2 parts worse than the first part. I mean, everything flowed so well together, and it was just a continuous story, and there wasn't any breaks to it, you know. And it was great because you got to see it all as it happened, even though it was years ago. We got to experience it as it happened.
Yeah, right. You're put into that, transported in a safe way. It's like a video game. You can have 5 or 10 lives and reboot and
Right.
power up, or you couldn't do that back in the day. So you
Yeah.
start off, go to the bathroom, get a snack.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that, But it's a nice thing to have. Well, the first week, 5.2 million people watched it, and it was
Oh,
number
fantastic.
2 here, number 1 in the UK. Did very, very well. They're hoping for top 10. It blasted their expectations. There's been 9 million now people have seen it. So
Nice.
kids in Paraguay and the Philippines and Brazil, they can
Yeah.
all see this. They reach out to me. They send me letters. It's a beautiful thing. The danger for me though in this was that they can redefine who I am globally. If I
Right.
know a few thousand people, I've worked very hard to establish my reputation of what I am, what I believe. It's all blown away by them because I can't possibly get 1% of what they're going to reach.
Right.
So the risk involved in something like this project is they can redefine you in ways you don't want to be redefined. I had to push back hard against the whole victim mentality. I wasn't some kid who was depressed in the basement, smoking pot, trying to get a voodoo doll. I
Right.
was living life large. It was the happiest time of my life.
Yeah.
This time out of left field. I had to
Yeah.
push back away against some of those preconceived notions that only happens to people who are depressed. I was happy. In fact, the book that I wrote on the front cover is
Oh,
me
yeah.
at the party. That was the last moment of happiness. Within hours, I saw the thing. My life was changed. It was the last moment of me just being me before my life was altered. That's why I chose that for the book because that's how it began, and that's how it ends.
Yeah, fantastic. So I know that we're on a timeline and we're getting pretty close. But I do want to share with you one thing that my wife will tell you is more harrowing than your ghostly experience is the fact that you were a long distance runner. Because she was a hurdler, so she's like, no, I die in trying to run long distances. Nope, that doesn't work. I would die during that
I
time.
think she's more impressive. I used to do European cross country with the hurdles in the track. I'm in the field. I'd be in first place, crawling the hurdles, 5th. First place on the hurdles, 3rd. I would never win because I couldn't get over the hurdle. I hit my shin, I belt all over and things. So I'm not worthy. To your wife, I commend thee.
So do me a favor though, if you want to, can you kind of just tell people where they can find you at? I have it scrolling on the bottom, but you can share with that before you have to go, because I know that you are pressed because we were lucky enough to get you in here, but you are the man, the myth, the legend, and have to go other places. So please do me a favor, share up where we can find you at again, and we will follow.
I'm very active on Facebook. Facebook's my thing. I like to be on there, and I'll respond to everything I can respond to. Just give me some time. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Reddit now. Ooh, I got some karma 41. Lots of interesting conversations there. Kind of challenges me. I like the challenge of it. I think I'm on X too, which is Twitter. I don't know.
You are.
Yep. It's all Ghost Boy, Eerie Hall Ghost Boy. It's me. It's my book. If they want to get the book, which parallels the show, is on Amazon. It's called The Ghost Boy of Eerie Hall. And I'll be doing events. I'll be traveling all over the spring and summer, all over, saying hello to people. I'll be in Gettysburg at the Battlefield Bash in July. I'm going to be at the Transylvania restaurant in East Hartford, Connecticut in May, and May 7th. June 6th, I'll be in Princeton, New Jersey at the 4th Annual Cryptid and Paranormal Convention. I'll be at the Syfy Horror Con in Vernon Downs, New York, in August, I think 15th and 16th. It's hard to memorize them all, but I'm actually going to go out, meet people, say hello. I'm going to look forward to this.
Fantastic. And for those people who are watching us, I have had your information scrolling along the bottom the whole time for Instagram, X, YouTube, everywhere we can think to find you at. So I appreciate you coming on, my friend. It was fantastic. I really do enjoy talking with you. And I know my audience loved hearing from you, and it was a great experience. But I will let you go so you can make your next appointment, because, like I said, you don't get the chance to sleep anymore because you are the man, the myth, the legend.
Before I go, I just want to say sincerely thank you for what you do. Thank you for taking your experiences and all the amazing things you've done in your life and sharing them in a positive way to help others. And I really appreciate your friendship. You're a good man, and I'm proud to know you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Absolutely. And you know us, we'll be in touch, but I'll let you run off. But otherwise, I'll be reaching out to here in a little bit, kind of give you some extra stuff about the show and how you can steal it and everything else. So, all right, brother. Other than that, have a great night. I'll talk to you later. Much love. I'll see you in a bit. All right, everyone. That's the show. Thank you for coming on as normal. Let me throw my stuff up there really quick. For me, everything is stuff I never learned. That's kind of how it runs. Everything runs under stuff I never learned. Facebook and YouTube. Facebook, stuff I never learned. YouTube, at stuff I never learned. My email is stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. So again, you can find me there, send me messages, ask me questions, everything that you want to. Just feel free to reach out. If you have questions to ask Chris and you don't want to try to go through hunting him down through one of his websites, again, he and I are friends, and I will be more than happy to reach out to him and ask the question for you. Or if you just have a message to pass on to such an inspiration, I'd be more than happy to pass it on too. Other than that, I am off until 19 February, or I'm sorry, nope, 19 January, my bad. We're only in January still. Sorry, I've been off for about 2.5 weeks, so I'm a little off right now. 19 January, I will be back, and I am going to have on Jenny Cole and Mike Minnig. They are now part of the From Ashes to Echoes team. All kinds of awesome stuff coming up with that group. So I want to get them on here and have them explain who they were before they started that, where they're at now, and where they're going to be going to down the future. Just a precursor, there are some changes coming up to my show. I will be discussing those later on down the road, but changes are coming, and I will share them with you as I get closer and have them more set up in my head. February 2nd is going to be my show after the January 19th, and I think I'm doing an open mic night that night, so you feel free to come in and do an open mic night with me, ask questions, make comments, do whatever, but come hang out for the hour and a half, 2 hours, however long we want to talk. Other than that, as always, stay safe, much love. Take care of each other, and I will see you all